David L. Wolper was one of the most successful and influential producers in the entertainment industry. He produced some of the most important documentaries, films, miniseries, and entertainment events of the 20th century.
Television and I started maturing at just about the same time. By 1949, more than 1 million television sets were in use. Within 3 years, there were 17 million sets, most of them in private homes, and America had changed forever. Broadcasting stations were beginning to open in every city in America. These stations had to fill time as best and as cheaply as possible. There were about 65 TV stations in the entire country, and they were desperate for product. The lack of saleable product just about forced us to start producing original programming. I ran into the American representative of Art Kino Films. During our brief conversation, he told me that he'd recently received some exciting footage from the Russian space program that he wanted to sell to one of the networks. He had exclusive footage of the Russian space program that no one in America had seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing to you the most important story of this century. Mankind's breakthrough into space. For the first time, mankind has reached for the stars and found them within his grasp.
This was at the height of the Cold War, and the battle to control outer space, and with it perhaps the ability to put terrifying weapons into space, was raging. The Russians had stunned the world in October 1957 by launching the first satellite, Sputnik.
I see nothing wrong in acknowledging Russia's accomplishment, but I see a great deal wrong with kidding ourselves. Not just our pride, but our security is at stake.
Our security was at stake. It seemed that almost daily, Soviet leaders told us that they were going to annihilate us.
Конец! Могила колониальному рабству! Долой его и похоронить его чем глубже, тем лучше!
The communist bloc would like to see the entire world under communist domination.
The battle for supremacy in outer space was a great story. I bought exclusive rights to the Russian space footage for $10,000. I was going to make a documentary. Early television introduced documentaries to a massive audience. The networks loved them. They were inexpensive to produce because they consisted mostly of available footage, and they satisfied the FCC's desire that networks broadcast some educational programming. There was not enough Russian footage for an entire show. So I decided to tell the complete story of the race for space supremacy between the United States and the Soviet Union. Few people had heard of the American space pioneer, Robert Goddard. Goddard had died in 1945, but I located his widow. I asked to interview her and then, almost as an afterthought, asked if she had any personal footage. She told me she'd filmed her husband's experiments in Massachusetts and New Mexico on an 8mm home camera. That was incredible. This was the only existing footage of the birth of the American space program. I went to Washington and convinced the Department of Defense to give me official government footage. We got captured German film from the Library of Congress Alien Property Department that showed V-rockets being launched. To make it more exciting as well as appealing to the networks, I signed the famous film composer Elmer Bernstein to write the music, and hired a controversial young reporter named Mike Wallace to report and narrate the show. I worked on every frame of that film. I produced it and directed it. I helped Lawrence Mascott with the writing, and I helped Phil Rosenberg with the editing. I was proud of the final product, which we named The Race for Space. The show ran the week of April 24th, 1960. It was a tremendous success.
The Race for Space received an Oscar nomination, and the documentary was honored at film festivals throughout the world.